Well, with harvest season winding up in South America, there's lots of grain on the market right now, but as it turns out, China is still importing grain from the U.S. This week's Bottom Line, Neil Melancon joins us to tell us where, Neil, China is putting all the corn and soybeans they're buying.
Well, Mike, they're keeping some of it and selling some of it off. In fact, this past week saw two successful sales of nearly 2 million metric tons of old corn, a measure seen as trying to tamp down rising prices, and that's the key to understanding what China is doing. They're trying to keep these prices down so they can use their domestic stocks as well as afford the grains they're buying from us and South America. And speaking of that, everyone's been saying how with South American grains coming on, China would not only buy less, but buy less from the U.S. Well, that's not been happening. See, China has bought about 44 million metric tons so far this year, and that's about 7.3% down from where they were this time last year. However, as you can see, they've gone up and up and up in terms of buying more soybeans and importing them from other countries, and May is projected to hit an all-time high of 5 million metric tons. Their hunger has just not been quelled. The bottom line here is that what's been happening with China buying our beans is going to start happening to corn. The rising prices there suggest higher demand, and with China being limited on space, Mike, the space to grow food that is, they're going to have to go to outside sources, which can only be good news for U.S. corn growers.
And Neil, it seems like every time China gets into this market, something invariably happens to U.S. food prices. What is all the buying that China is doing? How is that going to affect food prices here in the U.S.?
Well, Mike, I think it will increase in the long run, but farmers are generally good about responding to market conditions. So if there's more demand for corn and beans, they'll start growing more, especially now with all the acres coming out of the conservation programs.
Neil Melancon, thanks. And remember, you can listen to any of Neil's reports on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Radio Network. Just click on over to our website, twilatv.org, and there you'll also find a list of stations where you can tune in. Just look for the link, LFBF Radio, right there on our side of our homepage.